Okay, so hi everyone. Today is Thursday, so it's our weekly Zoom. So for those of our team that don't know me yet, I'm Carpenter and I'm an Executive District Manager. This is our multi-district training with Hayley Cashen's area district as well.
So tonight,
thanks. So tonight we have Danni Wells with us, who's our Regional Vice President, and she will be giving us some great top tips. So I'm going to hand straight over because we want all your time. So over to you, Danni.
Oh my God, I am so excited to do this call because I get asked to do trainings all of the time. So many different teams. Like I probably do about 4 or 5 different Zoom calls for different teams all the week, but I never get asked by my own team to do trainings because I'm just boring to everybody else. Everyone's like, yeah, Danni. Yeah, she does a weekly Zoom call. So when CJ said this, I was actually really excited because you guys are obviously all part of my region, and that is absolutely amazing that you guys have just grown the most incredible team. And I feel really honoured that CJ was like, can you come and talk to us? I was like, yes. So my name is Danni, and I haven't met a lot of you guys. So I'm just going to touch on my story and how obviously this has all come about. So basically, I was actually trained in ophthalmology. I worked for 7 years in an optician's. It was at Specsavers Opticians in Melton Mowbray, which is where CJ used to live. And I absolutely loved my job. I really loved it. And then I had my first child and I decided to go back to work part-time. So I kind of balanced up working at opticians and then being present with my daughter. And then I went on to have my second daughter. And when she was born, we didn't know that anything was going to happen. So she was born and we found out that she had a brain hemorrhage and a stroke, and it left her with a lot of damage to her brain. Now, there are 2 reasons why, when that happened, I completely changed my whole outlook on life. The first reason was because when she was in intensive care, my husband is a tiler, and if he doesn't stick tiles on a wall or a floor, he does not get paid. So while our daughter was in intensive care, he used to have to make the decision each day, each morning, to say, give his little daughter a kiss on her forehead in intensive care and say, Daddy's got to go to work now. Because if he didn't go to work, our bills didn't get paid. And I remember sitting there and it just broke my heart because I thought he doesn't know when he finishes work if he's going to see his little girl again. But if he didn't go to work, because this obviously went on for months, if he didn't go to work, our bills didn't get paid. And I just remember sitting there thinking, this is not life. Like, this is not fair. If people have got a poorly child or a poorly parent or something happens in their life, they shouldn't have to be forced to go back to work to pay their bills. They need to be where they need to be. So that was the first thing that got me thinking about changing my career path. The second thing was when she did eventually come out of hospital, which was amazing. It was incredible to know that she survived and that she could come home. But when she did, she had appointments all over the place. She literally had 5 to 6 appointments every single week. We were going to 3 different cities. I was literally driving here, there and everywhere. And I just could not fit my job around what my daughter needed. I just did not have the time to work, which sounds awful, but I genuinely was either traveling or I was in hospital with her. So to fit in a 9-to-5 job, because working in opticians, the same as my husband, I only get paid if I look into somebody's eyes. So I cannot work an optician's job from my phone or from online. So I made the decision to leave my job and look for something else, something that I could fit around my family. And I was looking for something that I could do where I had no skills, because I don't have any skills, something where I could learn from scratch, something I could do from my mobile phone, because there was no way that I could leave my daughters. I just couldn't do it. So I needed something that would fit that bill, that would be on my phone, that was fun as well, that would bring in a good income. And my friend basically introduced me to network marketing. Her name was Emma Dickinson, and we knew each other through play groups. And she'd only been part of Arbonne for a few days before she told me. And to be honest, she didn't even explain it that well. She basically said, I'm working for a company called Arbonne. Have you heard of it? And I was like, no. And she goes, it's in network marketing. Do you know what that is? And I was like, no. And she goes, well, basically, we use these really good products, like really good products, Danni, like top-end products. And if we like them and we tell other people and they buy them, we get paid. I was like, hang on a minute. Is this like when I go to the hairdresser and I tell a friend to go and see my hairdresser, I get £10? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, I can do this from my phone. So although I didn't know how the heck I was going to do Arbonne, I knew that I could learn. I absolutely could learn. It wasn't like I was going into like fire eating or something really, really hard. I was just doing something that I do anyway. I just had to learn how to be good at it. So I started telling my friends about it. And one of my friends is Fiona Stevenson. And to be honest, she was really supportive, but she was like, it's never going to be something that I do. And I was like, okay. So I just carried on telling other people. And then I was telling all these other people about it who were telling their friends. And they were like, sounds great. Yeah, we're in. But then after a couple of months, Fiona said to me, you know that Arbonne thing? It's going really well, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it's really good fun. I love it. And she goes, yeah, you started getting paid yet? And I was like, yeah, I've started getting paid. I was like, not a lot, granted, but obviously it's a business and we don't obviously earn a lot of money in a business to start with. It takes time. And she was like, yeah, I understand that. And she goes, I think I'm actually really interested. And I was like, what, really? She's like, yeah. And it wasn't until a couple of days later when she spoke to Christine Goddard about it that Christine said, I think I want to do it as well. So they both said they wanted to do it. Now, at this point, I'd already sponsored a girl called Jasmine Del Rosso, who no longer does this business, but I sponsored her. And when my mother-in-law decided that she wanted to become part of the business, I said to her, well, what I'm doing is I'm building my team really strong rather than going really wide. So can Jasmine sponsor you? And she was like, yeah, okay, it makes no difference to me. So I sponsored Jasmine and then she sponsored Suzanne. And then when Christine started saying that she was interested, it was like literally like sheep following one another. Our other friend Sean was like, oh, I'm interested as well. So Sean was the first person out of that group of friends to say, I want to do this. So I said to Sean, well, because I'm building my teams and you know my mother-in-law, Suzanne, is it okay if Suzanne sponsors you? And Sean was like, yeah, that's fine. So I sponsored Jasmine to Suzanne to Sean. And Sean's no longer active and Jasmine's no longer active. But Sean did sponsor Christine, who obviously is really active. So that's kind of how that came along. And then when Fiona started, Fiona joined Christine. So it goes me, Jasmine, Suzanne, Sean, Christine, Fiona. And then Fiona told CJ about it. And I think CJ said no. I'm sure you've all heard CJ's story. She said no to start with. And then eventually she was like, yes. So that is how our leg has sort of come along. You guys are my biggest leg to my business. And they always say in Arbonne, you'll always have a massive leg in your business and try to always balance out. So I'm always working really hard to balance my business out because it's like having a wonky leg to the table. And I think you guys are so great. And I'm like, God, I'd love to spend more time with them. But the more time I spend with them guys, the more wonky my business is. So I'm like working really, really hard to make my business balance. And that's one of my biggest tips. When you start your business, make sure that you have a balanced business. One of the worst things I did was put people under people because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I wouldn't recommend that. The only time I would ever suggest that somebody is put under somebody else as a sponsor is if they're already connected in some way, like they're really great friends, they might be a husband and wife or brother and sister. If they've got some sort of great connection, don't just randomly put somebody under somebody else, which is what I did. And that's how I ended up with this massive long leg. So I was like, yeah, you sponsor her. And you end up with a wonky business. What you want is an even business, or as even as you can. So that's one of my biggest top tips. One of my other top tips is to focus on your personal business before you worry about what your team are doing. So you've got to think of your business like a shop. So we've got an online business, but you have to think that it's a shop and you've paid 50 quid and you've got your shop in your local town, wherever you live, and it's got shelves with all the products on. And you have to think that people are going to come into your shop and take products off your shelf and say, would this suit me? Is this my colour? Is this my lipstick? And you're going to serve your customers as though it's a shop. And you're going to serve your customers so well that when your customers run out of deodorant and toothpaste and shampoo, they are not going to even think about going anywhere else. They are going to come to you. They are loyal. And you have to think about somebody that you're loyal to. Like I'm loyal to my hairdresser. I wouldn't think of going anywhere else because she provides me with such good service. And that's kind of how you need to think about your business as well. Provide your customers and your clients with the best service possible. And then people are going to come along into your shop and they're going to say, this shop's lovely. I could open one of these up down the road. And you could say to them, yeah, I can help you do that down the road. Fantastic. So they get to work and they open their shop up down the road. Do not spend too much of your time in their shop though, because when you're in their shop, you're out of your shop. So you need to focus on your business first. Your business always has to come first, which to us is our PQVs. So when I'm working out how many hours a week I spend on Arbonne, which is about 15 to 20 hours a week I spend on Arbonne, and I split it in half. So I spend 10 hours of that on my personal business, which is my clients, my events, anything that's my PQV. So half of my business time is on my personal business. And I do not sway out of that, because your own business has to come first. A bit like if you're in an aeroplane and you have to get your life jacket, you have to do yourself first. Then the other half I dedicate to my team, which is a weekly Zoom call for the whole region, a weekly Zoom call for my central district. I do coaching calls, I do region training, area training. So all of that, I help my team with that. So make sure your personal business does come first. Okay, always has to. So that's one of my other top tips. Okay, so another one of my tips is building a business with your cold market, because I've actually got really good at this. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, when I started this business, I was terrible at everything. And the only way I've got good is to just get out there, make the mistakes and learn from them. And this is what I did with my cold market. So last year, I was at a point in my business where my business was so wonky. I was like, oh my gosh, I've really got to even my business up, but I just don't know who to talk to. And I was talking to people and just wasn't getting anywhere. So I thought, I'm going to have to brace it. I'm going to have to speak to the cold market, which I'd not done. So I thought, how can I speak to people? I already knew there was people out there that would love this. I already knew that. I am a bit of an idiot. I was going to say I'm not an idiot. I am a bit. But I knew there was people out there that would 100% love this. How could I talk to them enough so that they trusted that I genuinely just wanted to help them? I wasn't just out there to see what I could get. So what I did was I went onto online groups that I had a connection with. So for me, and this will be different for everybody, for me, I joined breastfeeding groups because I am a peer supporter, and I do help mums with breastfeeding. So I joined those groups. I joined groups that were pole fitness because I enjoyed pole fitness, mummy groups, vegan groups, any kind of group that I had some sort of a connection with, something in common with, I joined them all. And then what I did was I made friends on there. I just made friends like I had no other friends. So I went on, found people that I thought were really nice and just chatted to them, and then was like, do you mind if I add you as a friend? They were like, no, that's fine. And I built up friendships online, added them onto my Facebook. And I find that by doing that, a lot of people there, we've built up some sort of connection. So they already trust that I'm not some sort of weirdo. They know that I'm a normal person. They look at my Facebook and they look at the things that I'm tagged in and the things that I'm posting, which are never all about buy this, selling Arbonne. I just post about the lifestyle, and people contact me and they're like, gosh, your job looks really fun. Like, what do you do? Or if I'm using a product, if I've drank a fizz stick, I'll take a photo and I'll be like, oh God, I can't live without these. And then I literally have about 20 messages going, what's that you're drinking? And I tell people that I work for a company that work with ultra premium Swiss products, so like top quality products. I'm basically paid to use these products and review them, tell people what I think. And most people are like, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's really good. So I build up connections like that, and I've built up some really great friendships through the cold market and sponsor people into my business. And I can honestly say the people that I've sponsored into my business that I've never met, I only met them online, have become some of my closest friends. Because when I sponsor somebody into the business, I treat them as though they are part of my family, because we're business partners, we're doing this together. And until they promote as a district manager, I'm going to be there with them every step of the way. So I'll ring them every day, have a chat with them, get to know them, get to know what their partner does, who their children are, what they like, what they don't like. I'll do launches for them. I will literally be there for them the whole time until they get to district manager. And then when they get to district manager, I say to them, I'm still here, but you're now leading your own team now. So it's like building people's independence. So that's one of my other tips. Okay, what else have I written down? Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Okay, so build a loyal client base as well. So going back to what I said a minute ago about people going into your shop, the best thing that I can suggest is you have to think about what makes you a loyal client to somebody else. So if you're loyal to your hairdresser or your childminder or your child's school or something that provides a service that you're a loyal client to, why are you a loyal client? So for me, when I was getting the white Mercedes, I was actually offered a cheaper deal from somebody else than the girl that I was dealing with in Loughborough. So I actually went to the girl in Loughborough and bought it through her, even though it cost me more. And the reason why was because I was so loyal to her service. She gave me the best customer service I've ever experienced. And I thought about that for my business. I thought, what can I do in my business that makes me have loyal customers that wouldn't even think of going anywhere else? So what I do for my clients is I treat them like they're friends. And to be honest, they are friends. So it's not hard. They might not start out as friends because I don't know them, but they become my friends. So it's really easy to talk to them because we become friends. And I'll ring them up about things that are not Arbonne related and have a chat with them. I'll learn about them, make sure I'm commenting on their things on Facebook, and make sure that I'm a really important part of their life, so that they know that anything health and wellness related, I'm their go-to person. A bit like if you have got like a car salesperson that deals with everything to do with your car, they're your go-to person. Or like a plumber, if you have a plumber that regularly is the plumber that you use, and something goes wrong, and you ring your regular plumber and he says it's going to cost you £10 an hour, but you know there's somebody else that charges £5 an hour, but you've never met him, you're probably still going to go to the plumber that you have got that connection with because you're loyal to him. So think about what it is that makes you loyal and implement that into your business. And that's what I've done with my clients. Another really big top tip, this always makes everybody laugh as well, is to find people on Facebook that are nothing like what you want to be like. So basically, when I started this business, I was being added by people that did different network marketing companies that wasn't Arbonne, and I would accept their friend requests just to see and have a bit of a nosy. And people that were really bad at network marketing, I would keep them as friends and follow what they do because they were that bad that I could learn how not to be. So basically, I'd be added into some of these people's groups, and oh God, it was awful. Honestly, I learned so much from it. They'd say things like, people that don't do network marketing are idiots. Like, why would people not do this? It was so arrogant and so awful that I do network marketing like you guys, and I love network marketing. But I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, I would never want to join your business because you're just horrible. But I learned so much by being in people's groups that were really bad at network marketing. And I would massively recommend that if someone adds you on Facebook because they've just started a network marketing business and you know their company is not that great, you know that they're probably not going to get much coaching or support, accept them, because they will be great to follow and know what not to do. You'll be more likely to learn what not to do watching how somebody makes an absolute train wreck of their business, more through people that just are like, you just can't believe it, but you're like, I will never talk to my team like that. Like, I was on one person's group and she was literally screaming at her team on the group, like, you guys, you're never doing this, you're never doing that. And I was thinking, I would never talk to anybody like that, let alone my team. Oh my God, but it was a really good lesson. So if you ever get added into things like that, just stay in them for a little while and have a little snoop around, because it is a really great learning curve. Okay, make sure you have time off from Arbonne. Really, really, really important. This is a part-time business. If you do this business full-time, you will be exhausted, you won't be having fun, and people will not be attracted into your business. You need to be having fun for people to be attracted into this. So make sure you do Arbonne part-time and you have some sort of time off. So for me, I make sure that 2 evenings a week, I cross out in my diary. So it's a big cross. If anybody even says to me, oh, you're free on Wednesday, I open up my diary. If it's got a cross in it, I say, oh no, I can't do Wednesday, sorry. I don't say that's my night off. I try not to do anything. I just say, oh no, I can't do Wednesday. So make sure that you do have time off from Arbonne, where you're not on your phone, you're not reading a book, you're not listening to a Zoom, you're having time off, because you need that time to really recharge your batteries. So make sure that you only do Arbonne part-time, you have some time off. That's really important. And at least have 1 day off in the week. Unless the only exception to that is if you're going for a promotion. And if you're going for a promotion, you just have to absolutely go with it. But any other time, make sure you have some time off just to recharge your batteries. Another really big thing is going to events. Events are huge. We have an invisible business, and it's very easy to sometimes let doubt sink in that you're the only person that's involved with this, and especially if we're surrounded by negative people that will say things like, oh, I know somebody who did network marketing, it didn't work for them. We all hear that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Events make you see how big this is. So every time I go through a bit of a dip, there's usually an event around the corner. So I'll go to an event like AAC or a region training or Discover Arbonne or anything like that. I go to an event and I see thousands of people that are doing this and working this in this industry, and it completely opens my eyes, and I'm like, yes, this is right. And another thing as well, I know I'm so random in my tips. This is a really, really big tip. What I find keeps me going through the real tough times is remembering this, okay? In 10 or 15 years' time, the industry of network marketing is going to be bigger than Facebook, the internet, Google, and Apple technology. That has been independently said by so many people. That is a fact. You can't even deny that. That's a complete fact. The industry of network marketing will be bigger than all of that. Arbonne will be a household name in the next 10 to 15 years. So like how most households have some sort of affiliation with Apple, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, or one of those music players, that is how Arbonne will be. But we've not hit that peak yet. So we're in the climb going up there. So we're like the pioneers. So how I feel makes me feel better is when somebody is rude to you or they ignore a message you've sent them. In 10 or 15 years time, you have to remember this. You're going to be a pioneer in Arbonne, and you're going to be famous because people are going to know that you in your area was part of this before it was massive. A bit like the people that were involved with Facebook before it was massive in their local area. People think they're heroes. Like, you were involved with Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook before it went big, and they're like, yeah, I am. They're like a local celebrity, and that's what you guys are going to be like. And people are going to message you on Facebook, and they're going to click into your Facebook, go to message you, and they're going to see that you actually sent them a message 10 or 15 years ago that they either one ignored or two was rude about and said something stupid like, no, it's a scam, it's a cult, it's a pyramid, or yada yada yada. And that gives me massive satisfaction when I know that that's going to happen, because it happened to Mark Zuckerberg, who created Facebook. He told people about this. A couple of people listened and were like, yeah, it sounds great, yeah, what we got to lose, we're all in. And then so many people were like, no, that will never take off. And then as time passed on, they tried to contact Mark Zuckerberg, and then they realized actually he had actually introduced them to the concept of Facebook before it was massive. And that is exactly the position that we're in now. So whenever you do have a down day and you think, oh gosh, they've been rude again, just remember that in 10 or 15 years time, you are going to be the one that comes out laughing when people are like, oh, she was that girl or guy that was involved with that and I missed out. I'm so mad with myself. So just have massive satisfaction in knowing that you are a pioneer and you are part of something absolutely huge. Okay, I've got loads of other tips. I'll try and just say one more. I could go on for ages. One more, okay, is the Eric Worre skills. So this is a skill set business. So although you can start this business from scratch like me and know nothing, you can't get successful within this business knowing nothing. You have to learn the 7 skills. So there are 7 skills to this business, which is what Eric Worre goes over. So number 1 is finding people. If you can't find people to share Arbonne with, whether that's products or business, you're not going to have a successful business. But the great thing for us is we live in a world where there's just people everywhere. So what we need to do is get good at finding people to talk to. So whether that's online groups, whether that's joining events, chatting to people, all we need to do for skill 1 is learn how to find people. That's it. It's as simple as that. We need to learn that skill. Skill number 2 is get good at inviting people to listen to what you've got to say, because we all know that what we've got to say is massively exciting. We can share these products, we can share these businesses with people, but we need to get good at having somebody take the time to say, do you know what? I am going to spare half an hour to listen to what you've got to say, because that is a trust thing as well. If somebody messaged you randomly on Facebook and just said, I've got something great to share with you, it's going to take half an hour of your time, chances are you're just going to go, no, I'm too busy. Unless it's somebody that you have developed that sort of trust, that connection with, and they genuinely aren't going to waste your time. So you need to get good at inviting people so that they know that that precious time they're going to give up to listen to you, that it's not going to be a waste of their time. So number 2, get good at inviting people. And the way to get good at inviting people is to first of all be rubbish at inviting people and learn what you did that was rubbish, and then don't do that again, and then you get good. That's how it's worked for me. I've got good by being bad and then learning. Number 3 is get really good at presenting. Now there are 2 ways to present our business. One is through the Discover Arbonne. In the beginning, I was shocking at this, but if you can learn to get good at it, you're going to have a great business. Just practice, and practice on all the people that have said no to you as well, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get. And the people that have said no to you, if you're practicing on them, they're eventually going to see that actually this is a really great business. And the other thing is I do the napkin presentation. So I explain it on pen and paper. I draw out 5x5, yada, 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 do the Don Failer napkins. So those are the 2 different ways I present this business. And I've got good at it. Yeah, I was terrible in the beginning, but I practiced. So that's skill number 3. Get good at presenting the business, whether that's the DA or the napkins or however you are happiest presenting the business. Number 4 is the follow-up. This is actually my biggest weakness, the follow-up, because I'm very much like, oh, just have the products, it's fine. I've got to get better at this. But the follow-up is something that, again, you just need to practice. You just need to do more follow-ups to get better at them. Number 5 is closing. So this is where once you've done your follow-up, you're then closing them, whether they're going to be a client, whether they're going to be a preferred client or a consultant, or if they're just going to be somebody that says, no, thank you, but I will bear you in mind for other people. So closing that in. And then number 6 is getting somebody started. So how I get somebody started is probably really similar to you guys. I send them a welcome email with a couple of really great documents in, and then I launch them online and then do in-person launches and just build their confidence and absolutely appreciate them. I massively build people up. I recognize every little thing that they do. I send them massive appreciation quotes. I tell them that they're amazing, and I'm always building them up. So make sure that you do that. And then the last one, promoting events. So skill number 7, always promote events. It takes somebody roughly 7 times to take notice of something that you're wanging on about. So if you're going to bang on about a DA, you probably need to talk about it 7 times, not like 7 times one after each other. Don't make like 7 statuses one after each other, but 7 times maybe over the course of several days. It takes roughly 7 times for somebody to see something and register it. So for me, that happens to me all the time. The other week I saw Nicola Wills had sponsored her DA, and I saw it and I didn't take any notice of it, and then I saw it again a couple of days later. It came from my newsfeed and I was like, oh, she's doing a DA, didn't think anything of it. And then like a couple of days later it came from my newsfeed again, and it literally took about 5 times for it to come up on my newsfeed before I actually thought, oh, this would be really good actually, and took a screenshot of it and sent it to everybody. It does take me about 7 times seeing something before it actually registers in my brain. So anything that you're promoting or talking about, it roughly takes about 7 times for somebody actually to think, oh, okay, all right, okay, I'm aware of time. I've got loads of other tips, but I will let CJ ask me any other questions that you want to fire away. Oh, are you on mute, CJ?
CJ, you're muted.
Really?
It's all right. Right, I've unmuted you all. So I know the girls got some questions. So Hayley, I'll start with you, and then you can go. Because to be fair, Danny's just answered most of mine.
Right. Danny, I just wanted to ask you. I know that you were to start building your team. Can you hear me?
No, I didn't really hear that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You were one of the first people in Melton to start building your Arbonne team. How now it's starting to grow, and you're obviously overlapping like friend networks with other consultants to build your client base and your consultants. How do you deal with that in your area?
Okay, so I always say to people that it's their choice who is their sponsor, and I say it's really important that you pick your sponsor. You have to be really mindful who your sponsor is, because they're going to be the person that's going to be working with you the most. They're going to be the person that you're going to have to trust and rely upon to give you the correct information. So I always say to people, if you choose somebody else to be your sponsor, that's absolutely okay with me, because the way I see it, we are all one team, whether they join a side team or not. But I always say to them, it's your choice who you pick as your sponsor, and then I let them decide. And this does happen in Melton. It does happen where somebody will know 3 people, and then they'll say to me, who should I choose? And I just say to them, choose who you feel is going to bring out the best in you, who's going to work with you the best. Some people like to be absolutely pushed, so therefore they should choose somebody that's going to absolutely grill them and push them. That's not like me. I am real softy. So if somebody likes that, if somebody likes the soft approach and, you know, you're doing great, then I'm like, that's like me. But then I'll say to somebody else, but somebody else, they will tell you straight. If you put something on Facebook and it's absolutely ridiculous, they will tell you straight. So if you like that, great. And if you don't, then be sponsored by somebody else. So I would just say to them, just choose the sponsor that's right for you. And if you're the person that's not being chosen, because I've had people that have chosen other people as their sponsors, just learn to be okay with it and know that you're going to build a different type of team, because they've obviously gone with somebody else for a reason, and 2 people work differently. 2 people work differently together compared to 2 other people working differently. So I've seen people join my team I know have worked better in my team with their sponsor than they would have done with me. I know for a fact that CJ is a better business builder because Fiona was her sponsor than if I had sponsored her. I know that. So it just depends as well on what type of person you are, and you just have to be okay with it.
Okay, and the same with clients as well. The clients just decide who they want to place their orders with.
Well, yeah, because we're providing a service as well. So again, it is similar to being a business builder. Because you're providing that service with them, you're probably going to be with them the next like 40, 50 years as their health and wellness consultant. So they need to know that you're somebody that's going to listen to the problems that they have and not judge them, and be somebody that's going to tell them about the flash buys, be somebody that's going to go above and beyond for them. So I would say you do need to have a really great relationship from client to health and wellness consultant. And it really is for them to choose. And this world is so big. We don't want to build a business where we're literally fighting over people, because there's just so many people. I've had clients that have joined other people and have just been okay with it. I've just sort of said to them, you know, that's great. You know, you're going to love the products and you've chosen a really great health and wellness consultant. Even if I thought they've made a mistake, I've just been gracious about it, nice about it. And it's fine, because you end up meeting other people anyway. So it's not an issue. It might seem it in the beginning, in the long run, in the bigger picture, it's really not. I promise you. I absolutely promise you, from where I am now, it is not an issue.
That's true.
Okay, thank you.
I've seen the film Get Carter. It's a good film.
Is there any other questions?
Does anyone else have any more? Joe, did you have a question?
To be honest, I think it's all been covered, really. I've been writing stuff down because, obviously, as you know, recently myself and Nick have been struggling with, you know, getting people booked in and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just sort of given a new approach really to take. So yeah, it's ideal. Thank you, Danny.
You're so welcome. I'll just say one other thing as well, which is on one of my tips, is there's a really big difference as well between being and doing. And the best way I can describe this is when I sit on we've probably all been there as well, but when I sit on the sofa and I'm at a friend's house or the in-laws house or somebody's house and they've cooked dinner. So for example, I'm at my in-laws house, they've cooked dinner, and I'm sat on the sofa and I'm thinking, I ought to wash up really, because it's polite. And if I don't wash up, I'm going to appear to be quite rude. I better get up. And if I get up and go and start washing up, that's how I describe that as doing. So I'm doing something that I ought to be doing. The other side of it is being. So that's where we're sat on the sofa and they've cooked dinner and you don't even think, oh, I better wash up. You automatically get up and get in the kitchen and start washing up. And that's when you are being. And now when I started Arbonne, I was doing what I should be doing, reading the books, going to the trainings, doing all the things I should do, but I wasn't being, because Arbonne wasn't a part of me then. So I was just doing what I should be doing, like the washing up, thinking, oh, I better wash up, because if I wash up, then they're going to think I'm a nice person and I'm not a rude person. Same with Arbonne. If I'm doing this, then I'm going to get better at the business. But eventually, you get to the point where it's just part of you, and instead of doing it, you're becoming it. So you naturally, like if somebody's having a birthday on Facebook, you naturally wish them a happy birthday because it's part of you, and you automatically do it. It's part of your personality. Or versus you do it because you think, oh, I ought to wish them a happy birthday because really it's polite. So there's a really big difference between doing and being. And you'll feel that in yourself in your day-to-day activity. Things that you do because you think, I ought to do that, versus you are just part of you. You do it because it's just part of you. And that's how Arbonne becomes. Eventually, you move over from doing to it being part of you. And I would say how it becomes part of you is by the books that you read, the CDs that you listen to, the trainings. Does that make sense about the being and the doing?
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and I sort of had that transition over because I was doing. I wasn't getting anywhere, but actually it wasn't a part of me yet. I was doing it because I felt I had to do it to make my business work. It wasn't a part of me yet. But by reading the books and really listening to things and really doing things and making mistakes and learning from it, it became a part of me. And now I genuinely do Arbonne because it is naturally who I am. So everything I do that's Arbonne related is part of me. I don't do it because I think, oh, I ought to do this. It is just part of me. And that's like a shift that you have. And I had that probably about 6 to 12 months in. I had a shift where it was just part of me.
You posted something the other day that I was writing on about when you went to the gym for your personal training, and that example is really good for that. So I don't know if girls, you've seen it. It's on your life coach page, isn't it?
Yeah, I can share it. I can send it to you if you want to. Guys.
That's a really good example. That video sums it up really well.
I had it written down.
Right, we've got less.
I had so many things written down.
Oh, bless you. And we've got less than a minute.
But I just want to.
So thank you.
I just want to say, before this cuts off, I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are all absolutely amazing. And I feel so proud when I see posts up on Facebook, when you write things, when you're on the Zoom. I'm literally like, oh my God, you are such a fantastic team. And you are the team that I dreamed of having. I literally dreamed of having an independent team that grew with or without me. If I dropped dead, you guys would carry on. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And I can't wait to get to know you all more. Go on holiday.